What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Dude Hines Show. And in this video, this is the second episode of the 30-minute drill. In the 30-minute drill, I am joined by co-host Braden Short, a longtime friend of mine, and we talk about the most randomest stuff. There's no script on these videos. We talk about sports and just different things. So, how you doing today, Braden?
I'm doing good today, glad to be back. I know we had missed a few weeks, just some scheduling conflicts, and we had a lot of technical difficulties. So glad we're back recording some episodes. I know we missed a lot of sports news in particular that I know that we've talked about and texted back and forth about, so I'm sure we'll get to it here on the podcast. But just really excited to be back and ready to get started with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Your birthday was actually a couple days ago, and you said you went to see a Reds game. I know you're a big Reds fan. I don't get into baseball like I used to, but I know you're quite aggravated with all basically the people getting upset about how baseball, the rules of baseball and crap like that, like Garrett getting suspended, Nick Castellanos, and then, with people getting upset about, hitting grand slams when the game is pretty much over with. I know you're never pleased with, all the baseball stuff. I know you get really upset when it comes to like the Reds getting suspended and everything like that.
I mean, yeah, I don't think there was a reason why Castellanos should have been suspended the 2 games that he was. In my opinion, Castellanos did not start that fight. I believe that was Yadier Molina coming and grabbing Castellanos that incited everything. So with the MLB saying that Castellanos violated COVID protocols by that, I think's what their excuse was. I don't remember. But yeah, I just disagree with it. I don't think Castellanos should have been suspended in that. And then whenever it came to the Amir Garrett situation, I believe it was 8 or 7 at the first. 7 games, I believe. I don't really remember. And then they reduced it down. I still don't think should have been suspended at all for that if Javi Baez wasn't suspended, because Javi Baez literally jumped the railing and came onto the field after Amir Garrett and doesn't get any suspension. But it's whatever, man. I've always thought that the Reds are one of the MLB's least favorite teams, just like how I thought that the Bengals are one of the NFL's least favorite teams. I just think that's how it is. I mean, I feel the Bengals are hated by the media a lot, and the Reds are hated by the media a lot, and they never want to give us any credit for anything. Unfortunately, recently there's not been much to give us credit for, so in that sense they are right. But I do disagree with a lot of stuff with baseball. I just think baseball as a whole is lacking with connecting to the younger generation. And I think that eventually baseball is going to see a lot more decline in viewership.
Yeah, that's the thing. I did an episode last week with a buddy of mine, and we were kind of talking, how baseball, it seems like it's the only sport where people actually get upset when people continue to run up the score. If you have a chance to hit a home run or really specifically a grand slam, you definitely do it. People don't complain when Nick Saban in Alabama beats Coastal Carolina State, whatever, some small school, 70-0. But when it comes to baseball, if a team loses, 8-0, 9-0, something like that. The other day the Pirates lost, I believe, 20-1, something like that. And people are all upset. And the MLB wonders why their viewership goes down. You suspend players for having fun, and you do not like it when teams aren't to score against one another. I just do not understand the baseball logic anymore. I tweeted a video a couple of weeks ago. I think I might have sent it to you. There was somebody, I think it was a high school game. There was somebody did a bat flip after they hit a home run. Lots of people were upset about that. I honestly believe that was worse than Castellanos and Garrett. Garrett, to me, that is just ridiculous. I mean, you're yelling at somebody because, you got somebody out. I don't get it. MLB is mad that their viewership goes down, but they do not promote their league at all, and they just get mad at every single thing. MLB, to me, that's part of the reason why I just pretty much stopped watching it for the most part. It's not entertaining what it used to be, and everything is such a big deal when it shouldn't be.
But yeah, oh yeah, and something that I want to add to going back to the Amir Garrett suspension that I completely forgot until I was sitting here listening to you talk. The 2017 Astros, or whichever Astros team cheated, I can't remember the year exactly, but Amir Garrett and Castellanos were both suspended more than any member of that team, and they cheated notably and knew they were cheating. All of them did, and didn't get suspended. Like I just think that the MLB is ridiculous.
Kind of switching gears because we talk about the most randomest stuff on this series. There's no script, which means 1 second we could be talking about iCarly, for instance. The next topic could be we're talking about how the Bengals are going to be this year. We just talk about the most randomest stuff. And something I thought was really interesting, really cool yesterday. Around 2 p.m., I'm talking to my pawpaw, who lives right beside me. And, I was telling him I've always wanted to see a bear around here. Because, I kind of live in the country. And, at times there's some bear sightings. I've never got a chance to see one. But one day I really hope I get to. And later that day, last night, probably around 10 or 10:30 or so, my mom saw somebody on Facebook post, one of my relatives a couple miles away from my house. There was a bear sighting near their house. So it's like 10:30. We start, driving a car, try to see if we can find it. We're unable to find it, which really sucks because, like I said, I just really want to see a bear on my road. I think that'd be awesome to see. And, we don't see anything. We get home and everything. And, this morning, I guess, around 2:30, 2:45, something like that, everybody's in bed. I'm downstairs watching some TV, and I hear this huge commotion, outside. There was a big racket and everything. And I honestly thought for a second it could have been that bear. And I actually kind of was hoping it was because, that'd be a cool story to tell. You look out your window and there's a freaking bear. But I go upstairs to tell my sister to come back downstairs to see what's going on and everything. And I go back downstairs and I didn't see it. But what I saw was something I've never seen before. It was a freaking albino raccoon. I know I sound completely stupid right now. People are watching like, dude, this guy's full of crap. But I'm being serious. I'll send you a picture. I didn't get a picture of it because my phone was off and I was trying to turn it on. But the picture I'm sending you is about what it looked like. There's 2 different pictures, and it was kind of in between those 2 combined. It was absolutely crazy. And I've never seen anything like it before. I was just really amazed that, I was really hoping to see a bear that I've never seen before. I don't see a bear, but instead I see a freaking albino raccoon. I was a little let down, but I was still kind of pleased and excited I saw something different.
Dude, I didn't even know an albino raccoon existed. That's kind of cool. I don't know. Have you ever seen a bear whenever you went to Tennessee? I know you go to Tennessee fairly often.
I've seen a couple in Tennessee, but it's cool to see them in Tennessee. But the thing about Tennessee is, you're going to see them there more than likely. Around here, they're just so rare. It'll be awesome to see them around here. Like our road, was actually named after, bear sightings in a way, because bears were so often around here back in the early 1900s. But I just really want to see a bear. Didn't get to. Saw a raccoon. It's a loss, but it's a win. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy. I got to see something different. I did not even know an albino raccoon existed, like what you said. That was just really cool. That was definitely really, really cool to see.
Yeah, there was a few years ago. Do you remember whenever the bear got hit on 52? Do you remember that? Yeah. So that bear that night was in my neighbor's trash can up the street, and it was kind of crazy. That night we were actually out late playing basketball down the road at another friend's house, and from the security cameras times, whenever he was on the security cameras, because it registered the bear messing around in the trash and in his yard. It was I would say 30 minutes after I had just got back inside, so that would have been a little bit scary being out in the open with a big old black bear that you're not used to seeing. If it was a deer, it would have been another thing because all you got to do is move and you scare them. But not really sure I want to take a bear on head on. I know. I think it was Khabib Nurmagomedov, or how you say his last name, in UFC, who actually wrestled a bear whenever he was a kid. It's kind of wild.
I don't think I could beat a bear in a fight because of my speed. I mean, if you've met me in real life, well, I don't know why I said real life. That makes absolutely zero sense. But if you've met me, I am extremely slow, but I'm what you call a massive person. I mean, I am probably bigger than a baby bear cub, I would say. I mean, I could maybe take it for a second or two, but after that, it would not end well. But, bear sightings, I don't know if I told you this before. About 4 or 5 months ago, I don't know what the exact day it was. It was around 10 p.m. or so. And, it's dark and everything. And we heard a big commotion. We thought it was maybe just like the cats jumping off the deck and everything. And the trash can was tipped over. Where that night we found out it was tipped over. And there's a bag of trash, there's ripped to and everything. Interesting thing about the trash bag was probably about 25 feet away from the trash can. So we're like, that's kind of weird, It's kind of that far away from a trash can. Because, we've had some things, try to get in our trash before. But nothing like that before. 25 feet away from the trash can. Whatever it was, had to be really strong. And, we pick it up and everything. That was actually a Saturday night. And the next morning, Sunday morning, we're leaving to go to church. And we saw another bag of our trash, another trash bag of ours, completely ripped into. And it was across the road in like that kind of like clear area of dirt, kind of across my road.
Yeah.
Like 75 feet away. And yeah, it was really crazy. Me and my dad, we're both convinced it was a bear. I honestly think it was. I know it probably wasn't. But we were looking up raccoons can drag up to 20 pounds of stuff. We've had raccoons here before, but I don't know. I just really think that was a bear because nothing like that has even been remotely close to happening before. And there was some other trash, on the road too that was really everywhere on the road as well. So, I mean, there was a chance a bear could have been like 5 feet away from my basketball hoop.
Man, that's crazy. I'm glad we weren't out playing midnight basketball that night. I'd have been scary out there shooting basketball and having to come up with a bear. But yeah, another thing that we missed because we had talked about it on one episode that we unfortunately didn't get to post because we were having so many technical difficulties with it. I know my audio was messed up and everything. But Tim Tebow signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know we're both a fan of this move. I personally think, why not Urban Meyer in their relationship there with Tim Tebow, giving him a shot at tight ends. Everybody was trying to get him to switch to tight ends coming out of college. I remember that being a big topic of discussion between people. So I think it's a good move. I know some people disagree with the move, but me personally, I'm going to take it with a good move. Low risk, high reward, possibly. I mean, Tim Tebow's an athlete. I think it could possibly work out. I'm excited to see what it's going to be like in Jacksonville. I'll be for sure tuning into some Jacksonville Jaguars preseason games just because of it. I'm sure a lot of other people will too. So I think it's a good move for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're starting this new era under Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence. So I think it's just a good move for them to make.
Yeah, I like the move quite a bit. I mean, there's no loss in it, like you said. Kind of low risk, high reward. I mean, it's not even a guarantee what his number is going to be. Right now it's currently 85, but that could change. But despite him not even going to be guaranteed to make the team, he's already the number one jersey sale in the NFL. Absolute no surprise there at all. He has a huge fan base. He's won a playoff game. That's something that, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Andy Dalton, Matthew Stafford, lots of those guys, Derek Carr, lots of those guys haven't won a playoff game, but Tebow has. And lots of people are upset about this because, it's unfair to other players and everything like that. Let's say an undrafted free agent who's worked his butt off. I understand that, but that's just one player. And, it really aggravates me how disrespectful people have been towards Tebow. I mean, you really think about it. Excuse me. You really look up all the people in the NFL. I think Tebow is definitely one of the most disrespected players in the NFL. I mean, I know he's not playing forever, but there's just people who are constantly just trying to find things to complain about him. I believe it was Devin Bush, was complaining about him on Twitter. A couple other, NFL players were too. Rob Ninkovich, used to play for the Patriots, was dragging Tebow under the bus on the Pat McAfee show a couple weeks ago. I really hope, he proves the doubters wrong. I don't know if he will, though. But one thing is for sure, if Tebow is on the Jacksonville Jaguars active roster in Week 4 on Thursday Night Football against the Bengals, we are 100% going to go to that game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down for it, but back to I still think that Tim Tebow's worked as hard as anybody else has to get to the situation. I mean, he was a Heisman Trophy winner. He did go work. Unfortunately, he didn't really go anywhere with his baseball career, but you could tell he was working and was getting into the gym and staying fit. I mean, you're playing baseball still. I mean, he's worked just as hard as anybody else has to get to this moment. So, I mean, he deserves a fair shot if he wants it, just like anybody else. He may be older, but what's the difference between him working his whole life and a younger guy working his whole life? I don't really see the difference there. I do see people's point, but I'm fine with the move. I think it's going to be cool. I mean, if it doesn't work out, Jacksonville could always bring in another guy. If he's cut towards camp, bring in a younger guy if they want. I mean, it's a roster spot that's not guaranteed. He's still going to have to work. There's other tight ends ahead of him. I mean, I'm fine with the move. I like it. Low risk, high reward situation, like we said before, in text and everything.
Yeah, the thing about Tebow compared to different, athletes who basically, kind of retired or just, haven't signed with teams in several years, is that Tebow has consistently, worked his butt off whatever he's, done. I know, he was never, caught up in the major leagues. His time with the New York Mets minor league, that was not really a success, and I have a really good time there. But, he still worked his butt off. I mean, he's been an analyst at ESPN. He's done a great job there. Is still in shape. And like you said, it's not even a guarantee he makes the team, which even if he does make the team, really shows, how much he was determined to prove the doubters wrong. Because he turns 34 in August, playing a completely different position. He's not played in the NFL for 8 or 9 years. I'm excited for this. It's definitely one of the biggest storylines in the NFL. It's just absolutely crazy. You look at this 2019 season, beginning of 2019, I'm going to tell you that Tom Brady's going to win a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. Tim Tebow is going to come back in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers may not play with the Green Bay Packers again. I mean, this past couple of seasons in the NFL has just been full of just absolutely insane storylines. So switching gears to the NBA, I'm not a huge NBA fan like I used to be, but my two favorite teams are the Celtics and the Cavs. This year has sucked for both teams. The Celtics are 500, which is absolutely unacceptable. They lost 22 against the Nets today in the game 2 of the playoffs. They're down 2-0 in the playoffs against the Nets. Nobody going in had the Celtics winning against the Nets. The Nets have arguably the best roster in the NBA. But, if you look at the past several seasons, I mean, there was a point at 1 year, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier were all on the same team that didn't even make the freaking NBA Finals. Brad Stevens, regardless if they somehow make this to a Game 7 against New York Nets, absolutely has to be fired. I mean, it's just absolutely pathetic. The first 4 seasons he was with the Celtics, they improved their record each season. Since then, they have declined their record each year. It is absolutely horrible. The Celtics are one of the most historic franchises in NBA history, along with the rival Lakers. But this Celtics season has absolutely sucked. Brad Stevens has to go at the end of the season. If you have him as your head coach next season, you're pretty much screwed. And there was a report by Woj, excuse me, the top NBA insider. Brad Stevens supposedly declined a contract to be the next head coach of Indiana University for 7 years for $70 million, which is absolutely crazy to me because I don't get why Brad Stevens would not accept that. He's from Indiana, and there's no freaking chance he's going to be the head coach of the Boston Celtics next season. That was a really bad decision on Brad Stevens' part. It would be a horrible decision for the Celtics' part if Brad Stevens is their head coach next season.
I mean, yeah, I've kind of fallen off with my NBA knowledge, but I do remember there being several reports that I've seen on Twitter and just in various places about the chemistry being one of the main problems around the Celtics. So I don't know if that's something that will be fixed if you bring in a new coach or not. I think Brad Stevens is a really good coach still, regardless, and I think even if the Celtics do fire him, he'll have no problem finding a new landing spot, whether it's in college or the NBA. I think a lot of teams would be calling as soon as he was available immediately. But yeah, I'm not really too, like I said, my NBA knowledge, I've not really watched a lot of it. I just don't like the pace of the play. I don't really like watching teams score 130 and all that. So I've started to watch a little bit of the playoffs here, but not too much. I prefer college basketball. I'm a college basketball fan more than an NBA fan.
I can't really get into college basketball much because with the one and done, I mean, it's really hard to follow teams when, a player can be on a team 1 year and then they're in the NBA the next year. But, you mentioned you don't follow the NBA much. I really don't follow it like I used to. But, I might be a little biased here. But the Greasy Ridge Globetrotters are 1,000,000,000% more entertaining and more fun to watch than I don't really know how to describe it, the weak, soft era of basketball now. I mean, the Greasy Ridge Globetrotters, it's kind of a hometown team. They might not be the best team, but they have fun doing it and playing. Dude, I'm telling you, the Greasy Ridge Globetrotters are the most fun, entertaining team. I'm not going to say in America. That's kind of
Hey, we're on the
not
come
fair
up,
to other
man.
teams. What?
I said we're on the come up, man. Give us a little bit of time to get into the gym and work on our game a little bit. We gotta work a lot on it.
Well, I was telling the Greasy Ridge Globetrotters head coach / GM, my dad, earlier today. Think about this for a second, dude. I am basically like James Harden. Now, okay, I know you're going to think, dude, that's completely stupid. But we both have a really nice beard. We both wore 13 at one time. We have the same initials, JH. And, I mean, when we're in the zone on threes, I mean, we're very comparable. I'm not trying to brag, but me and James Harden are quite a lot alike because people don't want to, talk about
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not rocking with the James Harden comparison here. I think you're more of a Roy Hibbert type of player.
it. If I would be compared to an NBA big guy, I would say Whiteside or Joakim Noah because both those guys absolutely suck at shooting. They'll block some shots, then get a few rebounds, but most importantly, they kind of play rough. And, that was kind of my philosophy playing basketball and football. If you're going to score against me, you're going to have to earn it. And I'm going to foul you anytime I possibly can if you're going to score. You're not going to get that point easy, but, I don't know. I really think I am a lot like James Harden. I really think the comparison, it's very similar. Regardless of what you say, you're wrong if you do not think I'm like James Harden.
Yeah, so let's. I just want to make a comment, and I want to hear your thoughts. Of course, Bengals OTAs started today, and I want to say that I am so impressed by the progress that Joe Burrow has made and how he was able to go out there and throw some passes with Jamar Chase and just the grit and effort by him. I think that it's been underreported by the media about the progress that he's made coming back. I feel like if this would have been Justin Herbert coming back from an ACL injury, Kyler Murray, or another quarterback like that, we would have seen that everywhere, all over. I think Burrow's done a great job, and his grit of him saying how he wanted to be at OTAs because all of his teammates were going to be there and everything. I just think it shows what type of quarterback we truly do have in Cincinnati. And I hope that offensive line's better this year, and I hope that we're able to protect him to where he will have the most success he can have in a career, because I truly believe that he could be the quarterback to finally win a championship in our lifetime with the Cincinnati sports team. I think that if we can't win it now with Burrow, I don't know if we'll ever be able to win one, if I'm being honest with you.
If we ever win a Super Bowl, it will 1,000,000,000% be with Joe Burrow. I completely agree with what you said. The media is not talking about Burrow's, comeback, from his horrific injury enough. If that was, Roethlisberger's pinky toe, that would be all over ESPN for probably about 2.5 months. And then they start talking about Juju Smith's TikTok and all that crap. But, Burrow, coming back off a horrific injury. It was great to see him at OTAs. Cannot wait for the season. I know some Bengal fans are a little bit biased, saying they'll be, 13-4, 14-3, which, as much love of the Bengals, that's not going to happen. I cannot wait to see Burrow, on the field again with a, better offense line than last season. But, we've pretty much, took up the entire episode. That kind of about does it for today's episode. So, Braden, can you tell some of the listeners who can follow you on social media?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @B__short. That's my username for both.
Make sure to follow Braden on the social media links below. Make sure to go follow me on the social media below too. It's on the little ticker thing below. Thank you all so much for listening. If you like this video and subscribe to the channel, I greatly appreciate it. We will see you all next time on the Sports 200.